Oh, man, that sucked. That was hard to watch. Jets lose 32-6. We get our absolute... I can't say that on air. I'm not allowed to say that. We get destroyed. We get absolutely bent over and shown the business. This is not good. The Jets' season spiraling out of control. Seemingly all players have given up. It is brutal. Boys and girls, I'm going to leave the call-in number pinned in the live comment section. I will get to your calls in a little bit. I need to air out some grievances on my own side of things, so let me talk a little bit. I started taking notes, and I literally got to halftime. I got to halftime and just had to throw my hands up. So where do we begin? First play of the drive. Not first play of the drive. First play of the game. Kickoff, Gibson fumble right off the bat. This has been a problem with Gibson throughout the entirety of this season and throughout training camp. We saw a lot of unsure punt returns, kick returns from the young player, and it was just a precursor to everything that was about to happen for the New York Jets. Just nothing has gone right really since the Rodgers injury. Like, we have had no offense. Even our touchdown, it doesn't even give us the chance to have like a touchdown where you have 7 points because we got 6 points. Went for the 2-point conversion. At the time of doing it, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, you know what? I like that we're going for the 2-point conversion because we need points to score because we don't trust Zach Wilson. And then I realize I don't trust Zach Wilson to get this 2-point conversion. He can't find the end zone if he had a map and it was like he was standing on the X. He's the pirate on the ship looking for the treasure. He's got the X under his feet. He couldn't fucking find it if he fell into it. This is such crap. This offense sucks. Nathaniel Hackett blows. The players have fucking given up. That's what it feels like. It literally feels like that. Like you got... Then Becton gets hurt. I'm just like, really? Of course. Let's just pour some more gas on the fire. Why not? Seemingly the only people. The first fucking half. You go through an entire game. The entire first half, we didn't have one catch by a receiver. Not one catch. Not one catch. Why do I waste my time week in and week out for this shit? It's like unbearable. It's unbearable. It's unreal. You cannot have an offense this bad in 2023. And every freaking year we say it can't get worse, and it does. Every single year. You get Aaron Rodgers, it can't get worse than that. This season's going to be great. We're going to see competent offense right now. No. We're not going to see that. This is worse than the Gase era. At least I could look forward to Trevor Lawrence. I could at least look forward to Trevor Lawrence until Brayton Mann fucked it up. Now I'm like, okay, we're in no man's land. I do not want one of the top 2 quarterbacks, but the Jets are squarely going to have a top 10 pick. We are not winning another game. I don't trust this team to do another thing the rest of the season. If we didn't have Rodgers, Hackett and Saleh and Douglas would all be out the door. All be out the door. For all the heartache that this injury caused for this year, it has saved Hackett and Douglas and Saleh. All 3 of them should be out. So now we go into an offseason. I don't even care what the rest of the games are. Honestly, I'm looking at Tankathon moving forward. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be looking at Tankathon. I'm going to be looking at what's our draft pick. Can we trade down? Are we taking the best tackle? Are we even looking at a quarterback in round 1? Because I believe that Rodgers is here. I don't think we're even going to sniff a quarterback in the first round. He's not going to come back from a 40-year-old with an Achilles injury. He's going to have a shit season next year. It's going to be lost. Everyone's going to get canned by halfway through the season. We will have passed on the top quarterbacks in the draft, and we'll be like, well, I guess we got to start over. And then you don't even have a young quarterback sitting behind Rodgers because we're going to bring Zach back. Zach's going to be the backup for next year. I'm going to be pulling my damn hair out all over again. God. Like, even the defense today. I mean, I feel bad for him to start. Like, literally in a hole immediately. 3 and out, kick the field goal. Love it. We were, 9-0? I don't even know what we finished at halftime. We got the touchdown. So what was it, 12? Or no, they got a touchdown. So it had to be 16. 16-6 at halftime. Anytime a team scores a touchdown, I feel like it's just an insurmountable amount of points to overcome. In a league that averages 22 points a game, 22 points a game. The Jets can't get to double digits. They can't get to double digits. It's unfucking real. Unreal. Becca's going to get mad at me because I'm shouting and the kids are trying to sleep. Oh, come on. I don't even know if I wrote anything of like value. I wrote Becton hurt. So Becton's hurt. He hurts his ankle, high ankle sprain. I really want to know. So a restricted free agent. A restricted free agent is a player that has not accrued 3 years in the NFL. He has to play 3 seasons in the NFL. Mekhi Becton has missed 2 seasons, and with a high ankle sprain, he's going to miss a lot more. So he's not going to have a full 3 accrued seasons in the NFL. Now, maybe you can't first-round tender or second-round tender a player that you've declined their 5th-year option. Maybe that's why he can't be a restricted free agent, but the dude hasn't played 3 accrued seasons. So I don't know how his deal works out. I mean, at least you don't have to worry about using the franchise tag on him. Guy hasn't even been playing good to begin with. I was just hoping to see him play a full 17-game season so I can at least feel like maybe we can average like a reasonable starting left tackle salary. And, you know, maybe he'd be all right. I don't know if he even wants to come back here. I don't know if I really want him back. I can't trust him to stay healthy. But I don't know where we go. I'm like literally at a loss because it feels like we're in this fucking rotation of like, okay, we're going to come back next year. We're going to run it back. Everything that we should have had last year, we're going to get for next year. If Rodgers is healthy. Because if he's not, we're locked into Lazard. We're locked into like all these like contracts. We're going to make a bad trade in the offseason. Like, we're going to make a move. You know what's going to happen? Jets are going to do something stupid, trade for Devontae Adams and give up way more than they should. At least we probably don't have to give up the first. That's like the saving grace. I don't know. I'm just fucking tired of this. I want to do phone calls. I do want to do phone calls because I want to hear what you guys have to say. And I got to change it. I'm not going to do a 3-minute timer. We're going to do, let me see. I don't even know what I have. Do I have a 3-minute timer? I got a 3-minute timer. So let's change this. We'll change this to a 1-minute timer. So that way everyone can kind of get their voice heard. Let's see if I can do this the correct way, Ryan. Can I even edit this right now? It may not even let me edit it. What the hell? Even my stuff doesn't work when I want it to. There we go. Okay, 1-minute timer. Boom. We're going to move that over here. All right. So I want to hear from you guys. I'm all bent out of shape. I want to know what you guys want to do the rest of the season. What are you hoping for? What are you guys? I just want to know opinions. I can't be by myself right now. This sucks. This is just such a hard team to friggin' watch. J-Boy came in with a super chat. J-Boy says, cut Zach tonight, please, just so I can sleep better. I got a sad thing to tell you. He's going to be starting next week. I guarantee he's starting. I can't even say next week. He's starting this week. He's starting on Friday. I don't think there's any way. I don't think Simeon, I think it's either going to be Simeon or Zach, but I really think it's going to be Zach. I think they're going to say, well, look, we tried Boyle. We just tried to do a reset. I'm not even watching the Salad press conference right now, but I think they're going to say, oh, look, we just tried to get a spark going. We're going to go back to Zach on Friday. That's what I see. Blitzcrew. Says Becton, high ankle sprain. At his weight, doubt he will play again this season. We will see a lot of Carter Warren. Hope Rodgers sits out this year. Yeah, Rodgers is not coming back this year, Blitzcrew. Not happening. I don't want to see him back, honestly. You can't have Rodgers back with this offensive line. You just can't do it. All right. Let's see. Should I hop to the 2x2? Or do I have the call in? Give me 1 sec. I'll figure this out. All right. Gonna go to call-ins. First one on the line. Got Sam. Sam, how you doing tonight, dude?
Oh, same shit, different Sunday. Hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I'm catching. Hold on 1 second. Sorry. Pause 1
How about
second.
now,
I got
here?
some audio coming from somewhere else. I have no idea. Do you hear audio playing?
I can hear you.
You can hear me. All right. Oh, I know what it is. All right. Sorry. Let me reset this. Go. Fire away.
Hey, same shit, different Sunday. Um, I'm sitting here. I don't know what to do. Probably just tank the rest of the year.
Dude,
Um,
that's how I feel. It's just like,
because I
go
mean,
for the draft pick at this point.
you're losing two offensive linemen a game on average. Your wide receivers can't catch the ball, or when they do, they're dropping the ball, and it's just Saul with the same shit coming out of his mouth every week, and it's just annoying.
So what do you do? What's the quarterback option? What do you think we do?
I want to see Simeon. He
Hmm.
can't play any worse than what we've seen.
That's unreal. I mean, it's ridiculous. I got like a little bit of like glee from watching Boyle come in, even though I knew he wasn't going to like lead us back anywhere.
I just saw him complete those two passes. I'm like, wow, you can get the ball out in under like 2 seconds. That's
Yep.
impressive.
The offense actually like moved a little bit with him. Now I can't tell if the Bills were just playing pure prevent defense at that point, but
It
like
probably was a little bit of that, but
sure,
you
but
know,
at least it felt like he was getting the ball out. Like there's not a processing error with him. I don't know.
yeah.
Sam, any last words?
Fire everybody.
You have been ejected from the cockpit. All right, we're gonna go to Hunter from Virginia. Hunter, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing. Um, it's driving me crazy. 13 years now without playoffs, and we get a quarterback, think it'll solve the problems. He's down, and then same old Jets. Like we've
Dude.
got the defense. We've honestly
Mm-hmm.
got a good enough receiving core to score
Mm-hmm.
20 points a game at the very
Absolutely.
least. So if we really are in on Rodgers, I think the only thing that we can do to at
Mm-hmm.
least make this season watchable is have a talk with Rodgers, say, Hackett's your guy, but he's not getting it done. So we're
Mm-hmm.
going to let him go, throw whoever we have out there, and when the offseason comes, it's your pick.
Oh man, damn. So let Rodgers have his pick of offensive coordinator because we can't take the Hackett stuff anymore. That's what you're thinking?
Yeah, and I mean, and especially if you're going in on him like we are and
Yeah.
expecting him to be the savior, we've got some draft picks. Draft,
Mm.
somebody that can sit for a year and actually develop. But yeah,
I
it's play calling, it's O
mm.
line, it's quarterback play, it's
Yeah.
everything. So we've got to
I think it's a
choose.
full systematic failure. I agree with you on
Yeah,
that. I don't think Hackett's gone. I think they'll make Zach the sacrificial lamb. I think that's my gut feeling. Who do you think starts
yeah.
on
But
Friday?
I would have to go Simeon.
Mm.
You keep obviously you keep the two active with Wilson and Boyle, but Wilson will have to be three because there's no way
Mm.
that you can trot him out against the Dolphins, who are just creaming everybody. I mean,
Oh,
he's got to
dude.
he cannot see the field the rest of the season. We don't
Dude, they'll
deserve
score
that.
one touchdown and our day will be over. Like that's what it feels like. It
Maybe
feels like a touchdown is too much for us to overcome.
I saw you on Twitter. You said a field goal might even win it, and honestly, they could get the field goal and sit Tua, and we're just sitting there after our Thanksgiving meal, just thinking, "What the fuck did we choose? Like, what did
Dude,
we get ourselves into?"
I believe it. I honestly think Miami can kick a field goal and just be like, all right, we're just going to play prevent defense the rest of the way and just see if the Jets can figure anything out. Like,
Oh,
it's so
but
sad.
they'll play prevent, and we'll have a quarterback throw for 160 yards, and we'll say, "Oh, he's the answer."
Oh,
Yeah,
dude, I was waiting for
whatever.
halftime and Zach to come out and be like, oh, wow, the Bills are playing prevent the entire rest of the half. And Zach has 300 yards. That's what I was expecting. I was expecting something ridiculous. And then the Zach fans coming out just like ripping me a new one. I just want to go on a punching rampage.
Yeah,
I'm so mad. I'm so mad.
it's
Hunter, you've been ejected from the cockpit. All right, I've got Matt on the line. I'm going to get some super chats real quick. Then we'll go over to Matt. It's your boy comes in with a super chat. Says, today showed how you can't depend on a defense in today's game when you have an awful offense, a terrible quarterback. The optimism of Zach trying to game manage is laughable, and Salah is his protector. I want to see what Simeon looks like. So at the very least, like if he looks like Boyle looked, I can at least say, all right, at least they were playing the best quarterback. And then I give Salah like a little less shit because it's purely like the cupboard's bare. at that point. But like, I'm mad at Salah. I'm mad at Douglas. I'm mad at Hackett. I'm just mad at everything because the offensive production is just systematically awful across the board. And it's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing at this point. I want to look forward to watching my team on Sunday. And like any other shit poor team can at least look forward to it like a competent offense. And we just can't get that. AP comes in, says, it's gotten to the point where it's just inexcusable. There should be nothing that saves a regime from this utter garbage. They all need to go. Honestly, I'm at like such a boiling point right now. I would just say, fuck it. I'm done with Rodgers. I'm done with Hackett. Just clean slate everything. Just wiped clean. Just like, forget it. I know I was so excited for Rodgers and I thought it was going to be the magic season. I still want it to be. I want next year. Like, if you're going to implode, everything we have was signed contract-wise, like, through next year. Like, Rodgers guaranteed money. You can't move off all of them. You really can't. So, like, do you get... I don't know. Like, are you bringing a new head coach, a new GM, as Rodgers, like, decided he was going to play for them? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Ken Berry says, how was the game? Doctor said I can't watch live. Dude, if your like heart or anything is about to implode from horrible stuff, I highly recommend not watching the New York Jets. It's like having an ED medication that says, if anything lasting longer than 4 hours, please see a doctor. If this game scores under 10 points, please see a doctor. That's what I want to see. Christoph says, already moved on to the Knicks and Rangers tomorrow. Who am I kidding? I'm broken. Dude, I'm going to be still watching the Jets. This shit sucks. I'm just going to be aggravated about it the entire time. All right, Matt's on the line. Matt, how you doing tonight?
Yo, what's up? How you doing? So,
Dude, life sucks. This is terrible.
It really does. It really does. But I'll just get straight to it. So I've already looked at next year because I'm just so done with this year.
Sure.
So you mentioned T. Higgins, Mike Evans, and Devontae as potential guys we can get. But
yeah, Darnell Mooney and Hollywood Brown are both options as well, I think.
Yeah. But if for some reason we weren't able to get one of those, I think we should go lineman in the draft because here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. Rodgers would make this line better, but imagine having an improved offensive line with Rodgers and you could get like Devontae. But if you can't get a receiver, I say you go Keon Coleman from Florida State because you'll probably have a high enough pick to do that, or Roman Dunze from Washington, who's really good. He's my favorite. But
so I think the Jets are going to get a top 10 pick at this point. I don't see us winning another game, unfortunately. But if the Jets get a top 10 pick,
maybe against Atlanta.
Maybe Atlanta, maybe New England are like the only shots, I think. Yeah. And honestly, if I'm sitting here at this point, I'm saying, if you get a top 10 pick, we're not going to be in position to get May or Williams. I do like Penix, but not enough to pass on a lineman. I would like the option of either drafting an offensive lineman high or trading down with a team that wants to get a quarterback. So maybe Oakland or Vegas wants to get wants Penix or something like that. They want to move up.
Yeah.
Jets trade back, get Devontae in the trade back, get the offensive lineman there. I want to find a way to get a quarterback, though. I want to get a second-round pick, and I think Bryce Huff might be it, unfortunately, because I don't know if we're going to have the funds to pay him, like, long-term.
Yeah, I 100% agree. But it also looked like Will McDonald showed something today when he did play. He had a nice tackle in the backfield. He got the quarterback. You just have to let him develop. And if
I think you kind of made your bed. Once you drafted McDonald, it kind of kissed Huff goodbye unless you got him on a reasonable deal. And because of his pressure percentage, I think it's going to be far-fetched to get him on that deal. So I think franchise tag makes the most sense. Trade him for a late first or an early second, and then draft the quarterback there after getting the lineman for Rodgers.
Yeah. So what I would do is, like, last thing, I would somehow get a second-round pick, whether that's Huff, take Jaden Daniels from LSU, who's been a monster. Yep. And with that first-round pick, you take an offensive lineman. And with in free agency, you either get Mooney, Higgins, Evans, or Devontae. That's what I would do.
Completely agree, Matt. Completely agree. You've been ejected from the cockpit. I got Jetpack on the line next. I'm just going to go to John real quick. He says, we can't say we're done with Rodgers when he's only played 4 plays for us. So I know we can't say we're done. We have him locked in contractually for next year. I think I'm just blowing off steam right now. But I'm done with Hackett. I don't want. If you told me you could have Dalvin Cook and Hackett and Lazard and all these other like guys, I would still say I don't want, like, if I don't have Rodgers, I don't want any of it. So I'm hoping against hope that Rodgers can overcome the odds and overcome an Achilles injury at 40 years old and lead us to a ring. I'm going back to pessimistic mode though. I don't have a lot of faith. I had so much faith, and the Jets just crush it each and every friggin' week. Jetpack, welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, man, can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear.
Oh my God, bro. I'm so upset right now. I'm practically shaking, so I'm just gonna get right into it. Like, so we had Adam Gase, right? Completely inept at everything. And when we sucked, he would be completely away from the team, sitting on the bench by himself, away from all the players, completely disassociated. I'm sorry, playing like an autistic head coach. And then you have Robert Saleh come in here like a cheerleader. He gets all the credit for the defense, gets zero blame for the offense. And when the team sucks, he doesn't do anything. He's just
Dude,
like
he
when
tried
the
to take
team does
Zach out.
good.
I love it. He's like, I can't get this damn quarterback out. I'm throwing his ass to the ground. Like, that's what I saw when I saw that.
Bro, when the team does good, he's doing Quincy Williams uppercut. He's the greatest, bro. But when this team is not playing well, you don't see him on the sideline talking to Zach Wilson, talking to the offense, making adjustments. Like, dude, I don't know, man. I don't even know how to fix this. Like,
I'm at a
this
loss.
point, bro, like the season is over, and I love you, bro. Like, I tune into every podcast I can. And I'm so upset, bro. I don't know how we fix this, dog. Like, I don't know,
Dude,
man.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at
pathetic,
all.
bro.
I appreciate you being here as long as you've been here, because like this season is just brutal. As soon as Rodgers went down, I threw my head in my hands and I was like, no, you know what? Glass half full. We got good staff. We got good players in here. And no, I literally have no idea how to fix this. Because, like, I don't think Salah's a bad coach, but trotting Zach Wilson out there consistently makes me feel like dude doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And, like, there's just no fix for the offense. I feel like we're not allowed to have good offense. Jetpack, who we starting Friday?
Maybe Salah's not a bad coach, but, like, is he a good coach? Like, I don't know what he does. Like, he gets all the credit for Ulbricht's defense, and he gets none of the blame for Hackett's offense. And
I'll say this. I'll say there's players that come to play for Saleh, and there is value in that. I would say from going from Gase to Saleh, I do see a tick up on all of that, but I just don't think that I don't know. I don't think you fire Saleh with Rodgers here, because I feel like if you fire Saleh, it's going to be Hackett that's head coach, and it's going to be like, oh, that's the ceremonial firing.
Oh God!
I know.
I'm
telling you, I don't want to see it. I'd rather Saleh as head coach than Hackett. But like either way, our offense is going to shit. Going to be awful. Jetpack, you've been ejected from the cockpit. Where's my chicken? There we go. Frozen chicken. There we go. Solid. All right, I'm going to get back to your questions. I've got Don, then Sad Jets, then Rocco, then Joe the Jet, and then Jose. Give me just a second. I just want to hop into some of these super chats. It's your boy says, oh my God, someone go pop up Sauce's recent tweet. He ran to the locker room and tweeted about the 85-yard touchdown. This locker room gotta be dead and toxic. What did Sauce do? What did Sauce do? All right, this is news to me. What did Sauce friggin' say, dude? I'm irritated with that. It's 22 minutes ago. Y'all must not know defense if you think I'm just allowing an 81-yard touchdown on that play. Yes, I could have still made a play. We got to be better. Dude, these guys are in their own head. I don't like that. I don't like Sauce's tweet. Not a fan. Not a fan. Soreless comes in, says, I live in Buffalo and was offered free tickets for the game. Turned them down. Glad I did. Fire everyone. Give me Harbaugh and McCarthy. Dude, could you imagine getting Harbaugh? What would Rodgers do? Like, because I feel like Rodgers is still here. Like, you're not getting rid of him. Drippy Douglas says, petition to rehire Gase. No, absolutely not. Nicholas says, I don't trust JD. It's clear He can't build an offense. And at this point, he's a horrible GM, is 24 to 52, 24 and 52, 31%. And Saleh is bad. He's 15 and 29 as head coach, 34%. Look, I have a hard time differentiating Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas from Zach Wilson, because Zach Wilson is easily the worst quarterback I've ever seen, which is wild to me. But I feel like I put more of the losses on him. But at some point, you can't blame Zach as much, because you have a GM and a head coach that are still continuously trotting this shitstorm out onto the field. So look, I agree with you. I understand those that don't trust those guys. I'm having a hard time, supporting or showing the blind faith that I've shown so far. Arta Pimpin says, keep trash Wilson in, lose every game from here on out, fire everyone, I don't give a fuck anymore. So I'm definitely of the mindset of keeping Wilson out there on the field and getting as high a draft pick as you can. As far as coaching, I have no clue what to do. No clue what to do on this. I got Don joining the show. Don, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Ryan, I'm doing well. Actually, you sort of stole my thunder about the bringing in Jim Harbaugh. The idea that Robert Saleh is told by his offensive coordinator that his quarterback is going to be benched. I cannot imagine Harbaugh allowing something like that. I think Harbaugh would be taking the fist to the offensive coordinator before he'd allow that sort of decision to be made. And, I watch a lot of Michigan football, and just the intensity of the coach. When you look at Harbaugh, how intense he is compared to Saleh just, he's just a bystander in this mess. And I'd love to see them bring somebody in who's not afraid to push buttons and get up in people's faces, because that's what they need. They need somebody who's going to start some fights and start some passion.
Now, I was going to say, do you so you think Saleh's gone? What do you think happens with Rodgers? Do you think Rodgers would be okay with getting Harbaugh in there, or do you try to tap dance around like that? Is Harbaugh GM and head coach at that point?
So that's the problem, is that I can't see somebody like Aaron Rodgers tolerating Jim Harbaugh, because Rodgers, is sort of in the twilight of his career. He wants to have a good time. He doesn't want to be pushed. So I think if you went the Harbaugh route, you'd probably need to get rid of Rodgers, and you'd need somebody sort of to have sort of more of a soldier mentality of, okay,
trade Rodgers to Minnesota, get who you can get, bring in Kirk Cousins as your quarterback. This channel started on a Kirk Cousins video. We're doing it all over again.
I don't know. I mean, it's tough to be able to replace good leadership. You see it when you see it, and you're just not seeing it from Saleh and or Gase or any of these clowns, Rex Ryan, that we've had. It would just be nice to have somebody serious come in and just get in people's face and tell them what to do.
I'd love to see it. Don, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Pure Adrenaline Sports gifts a membership, and JD Decker gets it. JD Decker, thank you so much for claiming that membership. And Pure Adrenaline Sports, thank you for gifting it. If you guys want to support the channel, want to get some cool emojis, $2 a month. You could do that. I appreciate it. Let's go to the lines. We got Sad Jets fan. Oh, man, I can relate. How you feeling, dude?
Not too bad. How you doing, man?
Dude, I don't know what to make of the rest of the season. I feel like I've done way too many of these particular types of streams. I'm tapped out.
It's done, man. I'm sorry. I hate to tell you. But I just want to touch on a couple points real quick.
Sure.
What does Saleh do? The Jets fan asked that earlier. When it's going well, man, he is cheering and he's up there and he's doing his thing. But when it's not going right, dude, he reminds me of Todd Bowles. He just has that clueless look on his face that it gets us nowhere.
There's a stump. I've tried everything. I don't know what to do. And I feel like you're kind of handcuffed by Zach to some degree, because Douglas didn't go out and get the quarterback after Rodgers went down. And maybe, I don't know. I think everyone's to blame. I'm just mad at the whole organization right now.
Well, that's my next 2 points, actually. It's time to clean house. It's time to clean house with Saleh, Hackett, and Douglas. They all got to go. I keep Albrecht as my head coach because they're talking about giving him head coaching jobs elsewhere. Why not start in-house, and he's
Interesting.
doing a good job at his job.
Sure. Yeah, I mean that's a
So,
fantastic point. I'll be honest, I don't want a defensive head coach anymore. I'm done with that experiment. I don't want like a prodigy that rode the coattails of a Hall of Famer like Hackett or Gase. I would very much like, a proven bona fide offensive head coach. Get me Ben Johnson, get me Harbaugh. I don't really want to see the hoodie in New York. Like I don't want to see
our last
Belichick.
offensive coach was Gase. So it's just not good, man. And my last point pretty much
Friday?
is
who starts Friday?
Well, we're gonna have to start Boyle and then activate Simeon. Just deactivate Zach for the week, pretty much. You let him rest, and he's had enough, man. That boy's been through the ringer. And,
dude, he's got to be tapped out. Like at some point, he's just like, I can't do anything more. Like this is beyond my skill set at this point. Like I feel bad for Zach, honestly. Like I really do.
Is there a quarterback you ever remember your whole life that's played that bad and got to play that many games? Like got to continuously start over and over again.
I've never seen
unwavered
so
faith
bad.
in him.
Dude, unwavering faith. Unreal. I don't know.
Yeah, it's unreal, man. But hey, thanks for letting me on your show, dude. I appreciate it a lot.
Of course, dude. You've been ejected from the cockpit. I've got Rocco up next. I'm just going to jump into a few super chats. Albert pops in, says, would we be better off battling Trevor or tanking with Zach? I would rather tank with Zach at this point. Trevor would have been the move you make to at least save the season at some point earlier than now. Like I would have started him before the Charger game probably. The Giant game would have been my final like straw. Or at least had him active for the Charger game and pulled him at halftime. But the Jets didn't decide to do that. They're like, oh, let's wait till the season's totally over before we try to put any other situation together at quarterback. So I would start Zach and just bottom out. Blitz Crew says, remember how everyone loved Becton picked after his rookie season? Remember how JD made all those moves to get Aaron here? Salah, less secure to me. Random injuries and retirements, hard to prep for. I do think Salah is probably on more shaky footing than Douglas. But I do think Douglas, for not getting a quarterback outside of Rodgers, is like pretty damning. I don't know if Johnson is gonna make the move. I think they're gonna make Zach the sacrificial lamb and say, hey, this sucked. We're just gonna chop him off and we're gonna run it back with Douglas and Rodgers. I don't know. That's what I think is coming down the pike. Shane comes in. Shane says, can't get rid of JD. Done too good of a job building a roster despite sticking with Wilson and a lack of offensive line depth. Lose Salah, retain Ulbrich, and get Harbaugh or a legitimate offensive head coach. I would not mind to see Harbaugh come in. I was not thinking head coaching change. I mean, after today's game, yes, I'm very much thinking head coaching change because I want to throw something through a wall. But, I don't know. I don't know if he'll do it. I'd love to see Ben Johnson. I'd love to see Harbaugh. I feel like Harbaugh's like the hard-nosed dude that would be like, okay, I'll coach the young guy that's going to be coming up through the draft. If he takes McCarthy or if he drafts some other quarterback, I don't really care. And then Rodgers just kind of runs the show while he's here, while Harbaugh works on like the behind-the-scenes stuff. Maybe that's what we see. Patrick drops in. Newest member of the economy tier. Thank you, Patrick. Much appreciated. Thank you for supporting the channel. Means a lot. I don't make anything from the every throw video, so any of that stuff sort of helps. Thank you very much. Rocco is in. What's up, Rocco? How you doing tonight?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Dude,
I'm
fucking
so
brutal.
right now. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to make a fucking. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to get a point off.
That's
honestly.
All right.
So much shit going through my head right now. I don't even know. But I was getting into it with Matt O'Leary, my boy, on Twitter a little bit.
Sure.
Offensive line.
Yep.
There's been one constant, or actually two constants, since 2010. Our offense fucking sucks, and so does our line. Our O-line has been a 2010, and we've ran so many quarterbacks out of town behind a just crap offensive line. We draft a guy, and he plays behind some shitty team for his first year. The second year, we fire our offensive coordinator and bring in a new guy so that our rookie quarterback has to learn a new offense.
Oh, yeah.
And then in the third year, we put a team around them, and there's no continuity. There's none. Zach is learning his third offense in 3 years. He's not good. But we're not helping him at all. And I also think that the worst part about this offense is that we're supposed to have Jackson Smith-Njigba, and instead we have Will McDonald, who's been a healthy
that
scratch
drove me
multiple times
nuts.
this year.
Before the draft, if you were watching the draft stream, Green Bean and I were talking, and we're saying, okay, what position would you draft, or what position could we draft that you'd be upset with? And the one thing I came up with was edge rusher. I'd be mad if we drafted an edge rusher because I like what we had right now. I thought we were pig rich on it, and it's like, you know what? I would take a receiver. I would take anything else. I thought we were rich at receiver at the time. I would take Will McDonald, who comes listed as a linebacker, and I'm like, what? What happened? What did you do? And I don't even think like McDonald's bad. It sucks because we're gonna lose Bryce Huff because we drafted Will McDonald. We don't have Jackson Smith-Njigba because we did that. I completely agree, Rocco. It was a flub up, 100%. You have been ejected from the cockpit. Where's my chicken? My computer doesn't even want to work right now. Chicken's like, what the hell is going on? Frozen chicken. Solid. I might have to get rid of the chicken for right now. CJ says the fact our O-line is so ass and we still haven't even signed La'el Collins, it's not like he's going to make us any worse. They don't want to spend the money. That's what it is. That's what it is. Ken Berry says Zach Wilson or Sam Darnold, choose or die. I mean, you got to take Sam at this point. Zach hasn't shown you anything through 3 years. At least with Sam, you had a few games where you're like, wow, this guy's going to be good. Remember when Sam went toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers? We lost it in the end, but that was our franchise quarterback. And then we brought in Adam Gase. Or maybe Adam Gase came first and we had that game at that point. I don't remember when the Aaron Rodgers game was. Was that Sam's rookie year or was that his second year with Gase? First year with Gase. Second year as a quarterback. I don't know. Hate this, but I'm definitely taking Sammy Boy. I got Joe to Jet. What's up, dude? How you doing tonight?
Hey, Ryan. Not great. This team sucks. I mean, that's obvious. This offense is unwatchable. It's just I don't know what we need to do. I mean, it feels like this team is just lost. I mean, they're lost as a whole. Should we get another head coach? I don't know if Rodgers is okay with that. But look, I don't know. But if to be completely honest, what I would do, I would fire the head coach. I would bring in a Ben Johnson because what he did in the for the Lions today, what I saw. He coordinated that game perfectly. Who were the Lions playing against again? I think there was the Bears. He coordinated a great game that game. And I would draft Jaden Daniels, to be perfectly honest. Coming from an LSU fan, I love Jaden Daniels. He is such a great thrower of the football and at the same time runner of the football as well. He can make a lot of plays out of nothing. But look, that's what I would do. I'm not 100% too sure that's the right move, but it's at least something.
Yeah, I would take Jaden Daniels. That's the quarterback I like. Him and Bo Nix. I like Penix, but I think he's going to go a little higher than I want to take him. I would trade and somehow get a late first, early second round pick. That's where I would like to be when all is said and done, and I think you got to take a quarterback. You cannot roll into next season without one. Joe, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. All right, let's go to Jose. Jose, how you doing tonight? Whoa, got the delayed chicken going right now.
Hey, man, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Dude, sucks. It just sucks.
How you doing?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear.
Yeah, man. I mean, my personal opinion, I think everybody should chill. I like Salah. I think everybody can agree. Dude, we just got unlucky this year, man. We have so many problems. It started with Rodgers, at the same time with the O-line, injuries. My personal opinion, I'll keep Joe and I'll keep Salah for next year. Yeah. And I tweeted out on my Twitter, I just said, look, just to be safe, one more year with, the GM and our head coach. Then, if next year we have Rodgers and next year, we have the team that we're supposed to have this year, if they can't get it going, then fire everybody. But, Salah was supposed to have Rodgers. We're supposed to have a good line. And, I mean, going into the free agency, I think Joe was supposed to trade for a quarterback. I think we all can agree on that, but I think just in general, man, we just got so unlucky this whole year with everything.
Do you
Like,
draft a
I
quarterback in
don't
the
think starting
offseason?
all over with the head coach would be good.
Do you
Huh?
draft a quarterback knowing the regime might change?
What with the change at head coach, you mean?
No, I'm saying if you're going into this draft and you don't have
Yeah.
Zach, would you take a quarterback to sit behind Rodgers, knowing at the end of the season, if it all goes to shit, that quarterback's going to have a new head coach and a new offensive system right away?
Depending who's available, quarterback wise for free agency, if there's nobody that we're sold on, like yeah, we have to. But like I think in general, like man, we just got so unlucky this year. And like, what can Salah do? Like, he's working with Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Like, what do you
They
expect
clearly tried to
our
move
head
off
coach to
Zach.
do, boy?
You bring in a quarterback that has not missed like any games at all. Like, I know what the swing was. I know what they tried to do. And I think it was a calculated gamble that just like spectacularly imploded. Jose, thank you so much for the call. All right. Cayuga Lake says, I went to this game, such a hopeless feeling. Dude, I don't know how you sat through and watched that. Like, I was having a hard time drinking beer on my couch watching that game. Honestly, I don't even think I watched the last drive. I think I turned it off. I was so frustrated. CJ says, screw Hackett. I don't care if it hurts Rodgers' feelings, but his play calling is horrendous. He needs to go. Get Anderson, please. Anderson. I don't know who Anderson is. I don't know which Anderson it is. I'm at a loss. Racking my brain right now. I want Ben Johnson or some other GM head coach. I don't know. I got Matt on the line. Matt, how you doing tonight?
Hey man, it's rough. How are you?
Dude, I don't know what to look forward to the rest of the season other than just going into draft mode.
I gotta say, I'm in line with the same guy who was on last caller. I love Salah, man. Everyone loves him. Like the players love him. Not everyone, like the fans. The players love
Sure,
him.
yeah. No, I agree.
If you're gonna make a head coaching change, which would really break my heart, being honest, I think a sneaky I'll look for. You can look at the Ben Johnson, the Harbaugh. I would look at Brian Johnson, Philly's OC. He's a fast riser. He's been overseeing one of the most effective offensive units in the league. I think if you want an offensive coach, look at. I don't know. It's just today just made me really sad. Like it sucks. You know,
it feels like there's no
fan of
hope.
Zach. Yeah, no, 100%. I'm a fan of Zach as well. You know, and I hate how it seems every time we have to make him the scapegoat. I know he's not played well, but I mean, no one on the offense has. But today, losses like today are just soul crushing. You know, there's no other way to say it.
It really is. So, funny fact, this whole time I've been an idiot because I was sure, I was like, I really like the quarterback coach from the Eagles. And then I'm thinking it was Ben Johnson that moved over from quarterback coach to OC of the Lions. It's Brian Johnson that I've been thinking about this whole damn time.
No, that's fine.
I'd be
that's
fine with Ben
exactly
Johnson too. Ben Johnson's a baller out in Detroit, but Brian Johnson is the one I was thinking of.
No,
as the Eagles
like
OC.
Brian.
I'm a big
like
fan
Brian.
of him. His college career, he rose up through the ranks real fast.
Well, I was under the assumption in the offseason, like you bring Hackett over as offensive coordinator, you get right. If you bring Brian Johnson over as the Eagles quarterback coach, you probably end up with someone like Lamar. So it's interesting to think about, like, if that's how that worked out, how would things play differently? You know,
yeah, like
unfortunately,
imagine you had Lamar right now and giving up the 2 firsts. They had their Douglas 100% wanted to try and salvage the number 2 pick, and the best way to do that was to go after Rodgers. And with Salah having the relationship with Hackett from their time in Jacksonville, I think that's where they ultimately went. So ultimately, they made their bed. I think with Rodgers, this team is significantly better, but the Zach pick just destroyed this franchise, and it's going to waste the careers of a lot of really good players. Matt, thank you so much for the call. Been ejected from the cockpit. I've got Mike, the barber. What's up, Mike? How you doing tonight?
Hey guys, so we have the 9th overall pick, and we obviously won't probably win any more games, so we could start playing on that game. There's a couple of free agents that are leaving next year as far as Carl Lawson. Obviously, we could look at Mekhi. We could grab some other people. I mean, we all knew that this wouldn't be a successful season without Rodgers. We could reload next year, and who doesn't want to play with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets?
That's the thing. Like, you might have like some semblance of like hope, but then you're going to have some of these guys that are looking to make career moves. And what does a 40-year-old quarterback with a torn Achilles tell you? Like, is there enough there to be hopeful? Like, to some weird degree, like, would we want to see Rodgers in this offense and see him do well for a game just to, like, you know, at least prove to people that he's worth his salt? I mean, I don't want to see Rodgers the rest of the year. I'll be honest. I don't want to risk that.
Yeah, same.
I don't know, dude.
I mean, when you have 5 teams that have good quarterbacks, I mean, we'll draw plenty of interest. We have some money. We'll be fine. I really do. We'll be fine.
You are not irrational enough for me, Mike. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Oh, man. D, the Observer. Welcome to the show, dude. How you doing tonight? D, the Observer, you're on mute. D, the Observer going once. Oh.
What's up, guys, man? Oh, man, there's so much to say. But, you know, I don't have much time. I don't know where to start. But I know a lot of guys is, jumping on Zach and everything. And I know he's not the best quarterback in the world. But if you look at his college tape, he didn't play like this. He wasn't scared to throw the ball.
24-year-old offensive lineman from BYU. So BYU is a religious school. So what they do is they go on a mission. So you got like 23, 24-year-old offensive linemen that give him 100 hours to stand behind it.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying.
I know,
like,
but knowing that everybody who my bad, bro, but anybody who looked at that draft knew if I'm going to take Zach Wilson, I need to draft a absolute fence for him. How many offensive linemen was in that draft? There were a lot of good offensive linemen in that draft. A lot of them was on Chris Sims' top 5 offensive linemen. And as many draft picks that we had, so I would have drafted Zach Wilson, lineman. I would have came away with my whole offensive line from that one draft alone.
AVT's solid. He's been hurt nonstop.
I don't know if that's legal.
No. The right move was not taking Zach Wilson at all. I'm wrong. I was wrong on that. I thought the move was to take the quarterback. Turns out there was no quarterback worth their salt in that draft. Even Trevor Lawrence looks like dog shit. Usually. They got the win today. But look, I don't think the right move, I still think it is to trade Sam Darnold. You get the 2nd round pick for him. I think that was more than you could have gotten. He hasn't proven anything to date anyway, just that he's better than Zach. You get you trade down, you get the haul from the 49ers, you draft a bunch of really good players, and you have a loaded roster, but 2022 comes around, and you got Kenny fucking Pickett as the top quarterback. So what's the play? I don't know. Mumtaz comes in and says, we should have some money coming off the books, right? Lawson, Tomlinson, Davis, JFM, White, all big money guys. Maybe we are tanking so we can get a quarterback and let him sit behind Rodgers and do it right. So Lawson's coming off the books. Tomlinson still has another year. I do think he comes back another season. I think our offensive line is in shambles. It would be a mistake to get rid of him. Davis, meaning Corey Davis? Or Ashton Davis? Ashton Davis is a free agent. Corey Davis, his money already came off the books with the step away from football. JFM, I think you can cut him at this point, but I don't know if they'll make that move depending on how they feel about their defensive line post-Huff. Whitehead, I think is what you're talking about. Whitehead is definitely gone. At the end of the season. I haven't liked what we've seen from him through 2 years so far. I've got Cameron joining the show. Cameron, how you doing tonight?
Good. How are you? I think I'm just as dejected as any Jets fans at this point.
Dude, tell me what are you looking forward to the rest of the season? Like, what are you looking forward to at all the rest of the season?
I mean, at this point, I'm in the mindset of we kind of tank the season. We try and see if we can get someone good, have them sit behind Rodgers. Get an offensive coach, like you were saying, Ben Johnson, someone like that. And we just kind of go the way the league is going, which is get a high-powered offense and try and just score with the best of them. Whether it's Kansas City, Detroit this year. I mean, there's a lot of teams that score a lot of points every game. Their defenses are good, but it's not what leads the team. I think we need to kind of lean towards where the league is going,
Well,
and
especially because
and
like our
see if
defense
maybe
is built to play
that'll
with the
help us.
lead. Like it's built to
I
protect
know.
the lead and play with the lead. And it's just like Zach
Yeah,
can't get
and
us
we
one.
never have it. That's the problem, right?
No, it never happens. Who starts on Friday?
No. On Friday, I'd go Trevor Siemian, to be honest with you. At least Siemian has some starts in the league. He's not going to be great, but maybe you can get something out of Brees Hall, get a big game out of him. Maybe you can wake up Garrett Wilson, because, again, Simeon's not great, but at least he's going to be able to manage the game. And I think he's more accurate than Zach was. As much as I like Zach and I support him coming into the draft, I was happy when we drafted him. He's not anything now, so, go with someone who might be able to manage the offense better.
Fingers crossed, Cameron. Thanks so much for the call. Blitzkrieg comes in and says Brown is like 16 million off the books. Yeah, but so let's see. Let's go. I'm going to go over the cap right now. We'll do this live while we're paying attention here. Over the cap, if you were paying attention. Jason, change the Jets logo. It's the old logo. It's been bugging the shit out of me for years. It hasn't changed. All right, so right now the Jets are sitting at $31 million in salary cap space. As we go through the list of players you can cut, let's see. I think CJ Mosley, like if the Jets are still going to go like in for it, I think they restructure CJ and they kind of spread his money over 2 years and it's a 2-year window with him. Or you can cut him and you save $11 million. You wind up saving $1 million total. It's a $10 million dead cap, $11 million savings. Dwayne Brown, $4.7 million dead cap hit. There's not going to be any cap savings from him. Laken Tomlinson, you could clear, let's see, you have $10 million in dead cap, $8 million in savings. There's really you can move some stuff around, but the Jets are just in a rough spot. We are in a rough spot right now. I don't like it. I do not like it. Pure Adrenaline Sports says Jets with $30.4 million in cap in 2024, according to Over the Cap. Yep. Pedro Luis Hoyas dropped a $10 super chat, but I don't see any comment associated with it. So if I see one pop up, I'll try to throw it in there. Ice Mike says Rodgers faked the injury once he realized how bad the roster and the coaching staff was. No way they were ever going to live up to the incredible hype. I mean, I was at week 1. I saw that calf pop. I didn't see the calf pop at the game. I saw the calf pop later on, but dude, I wish that was the case. I wish there was some conspiracy where I could say at the very least, at least Rodgers is in on this and we're going all in for the following season, but I don't buy it. I got Devon on the line. Devon, how you doing tonight?
I'm down, man. I honestly, I kind of wanted to check on Joe Douglas because he's been irking me. I'm not gonna lie, he trickled down on Zach Wilson, and you can blame him. You can honestly blame him for Aaron Rodgers getting injured because you went into the season with a 40-year-old left tackle. It's just draining. It's draining. Honestly, I don't see how y'all go watch it. I gave up on him against the Chargers. It's not watchable. It's not watchable. It's not watchable. How could you just sit there week in after week and just trot Zach Wilson out there? You had multiple chances to get a quarterback, and now the season is just a waste. It's just the same as last season. It's literally the repeat. We just gassed at the end. Everybody's gonna get tired. The defense is just
Dude, locker room's about to fall
saving
apart.
grace?
Yeah.
Is there any positive? I'm trying to find something to there's nothing to hang on. It's just
I got no positives.
JD?
No positives, Devon. None at all. I got Lassell, then Danny, then Jason coming up. Give me 1 second. Let me get Pedro's super chat up here. He says, perhaps we can't make quarterbacks in-house. After Aaron, we need an experienced quarterback again. We did great with Fitzmagic. Our best quarterbacks have been journeyman kind of guys. I mean, I guess Pennington, maybe. We went every other year to the playoffs for I think 6 years. It was every other year. Sanchez got us to games, but he wasn't a good quarterback by and large. I don't know. I feel like the big light, bright city kind of situation with New York is just tough for young quarterbacks. So I would draft one in like the second round. Let him sit behind Rodgers. Rodgers, however long you want to play, 2 years? Fine. Let this kid sit and learn. Man, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't missing Fitzmagic right around now. I've got Lassell. Lassell, welcome.
Yeah. What's up?
Dude.
What's up, everybody?
How you feeling?
Hello? Yes, sir. You doing good?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. I am livid, but not as livid as yesterday because I expected this type of thing to happen. I expected it, but I didn't expect it to be this bad. To be honest, I couldn't expect it to be this bad. I couldn't watch the fourth quarter. I couldn't watch it. I couldn't because I just saw how bad it was getting, and I was just like, we're not going to be able to score a touchdown. We're not going to be able to stop them. It just could go downhill. So I'm not going to watch anymore. Look, I like Robert Saleh, but I like how many times you're going to give, how many years you're going to give a head coach and a general manager until like you decide to just clean house. Like how many years? Because no matter if we get a quarterback in next year's draft, you're gonna just learn this offense. You're gonna learn this offense, and then as soon as if it turns out that next year is a dud, you fire both of them, and now that rookie quarterback is going to have to deal with another offense.
I completely agree, Lassell. I completely agree. Thank you so much for the call. I think that's an issue that the Jets are going to have to contend with. Do you draft a quarterback this year by this regime, and if Rodgers only plays 1 year, is it a wasted pick? Do you trade out? Does like Johnson say you got to trade out of the pick? I don't know. I don't want Johnson making the football calls. I would be okay to let Douglas draft another quarterback, I think. I think most people would probably have taken Zach at number 2 in the year he did, so I don't fault him so much for that. I just kind of fault him for not moving off of him early enough and not having a backup in place for the worst case scenario. And as soon as the worst case scenario popped up, they should have done something. Eric comes in. Eric says, situation is like watching a slow motion car wreck. For 3 fucking years, it was so evident last year. And we're seeing the same damn thing. Danny, how you doing tonight, brother?
How you doing, Ryan? Can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear.
All right. First off, I'm a big fan of the show. Tune in all the time, and I'm gonna
thank you.
Say everything I got in my mind. Zach Wilson sucks. I think it's over for him. He can't read plays. He doesn't know when guys are gonna be open. He has no pocket presence. It's bad. It's real bad.
Dude, bad sacks all the time too. Like just nonstop bad stuff.
He can't feel the pocket. He has no pocket presence. There's guys coming from angles that he sees them and he still doesn't react. So it's bad. And I think for the draft, we got to take like a second round QB that nobody knows about. Just let him come into his own with no expectations and just ball out.
Now, what do you? I'm of the same mindset. I like the second round quarterback. How do you get the second round pick? Are you trading down or are you trading a player? Because we don't have one right now.
I don't want to give up Bryce Huff, but I think it might come down to that, and that would probably be the worst thing for us. But you drafted Will McDonald, and like you said, it's almost like we signed Bryce Huff's death wish right there. So.
Yep. Yeah, dude. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think we're going to franchise tag Huff and try to move him for another pick that we could use on a quarterback. Danny, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Let's go over to Jason. Jason, how you doing tonight, dude?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Dude, I'm just trying to stay remotely positive right now because I'm like about to pull my hair out. I'm going to lose my damn mind.
This is just so frustrating. Every week it's the same. Not every week. This has been since Adam Gase era. Just okay defense and the offense just trash. And you can't say it's everything around Zach. Yes, receivers are dropping balls, not coming back to the ball. O-line is trash. But we see Josh Johnson Mike White come and make great
300-yard game, 300-yard game, 300-yard game. Everyone gets 300-yard game. Zach, no, it doesn't happen.
No, he throws the ball on the ground. That's what we saw. He lost his confidence. Every time it's a screen, throw it to the ground. That even Brees was jumping up and down like, come on, give me a chance.
So what do you do for Friday? Is Zach getting trotted back out there? Is Simeon getting the start? Or do you think it's Boyle?
Boyle. Zach got to get cut. He's done.
Dude, I don't want to watch Boyle either. I'd much rather watch Simeon. I don't know. I kind of want to just bottom out. Just like fucking just lose every game. Lose every game. Like, I want to be excited for the draft.
We still got a chance.
Like, that's where I'm stuck. Like, then I can talk trade down. I can talk trade.
Chance.
I don't know.
We still got a chance, but it's slim. Still got a chance.
We still got like 6 more weeks of the season. 7 more weeks of the season. What the hell are we going to do? Jason, thank you so much for the call. Frankie, how you doing, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
What's going on, brother? So what I'm thinking is what you do. I like Salah. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but with a guy like Ben Johnson from the Lions, I would pull the trigger on him, and I don't care what. Like, I started getting into college football recently. That kid, I think Jaden Daniels from LSU,
dude, so good. So good.
Draft
he had
that kid.
What do you have, 6 or 8 touchdowns yesterday, and he had like 6 or 8 the week before? Unreal.
Dude, draft that kid.
Dude, 6'4", runs a 4.5 40. Yeah, kid's gonna be.
He's literally Cam Newton. He's literally Cam Newton.
He's a lot smaller than Cam Newton. He's like just over 200 pounds. So like Cam, I think was 250 or 260. So size wise, definitely different. But like if you can draft him, let him bulk up behind Rodgers. I like that.
And what you got to do? My favorite thing that we should do: draft him. Draft O-line, receiver, O-line.
Just all offense. Screw the defense.
Our defense is good. That's all we need. Like, our defense is already good. Like, it doesn't matter.
Dude, anyways. I hear you. Frankie, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected. We got Fabian joining the show. Fabian, how you doing tonight, brother?
Hey, what's up, Ryan? How's it going, man?
Dude, talk to me.
Hello? I'm sorry,
How are you feeling?
Yo, listen, I think today Robert Saleh lost the whole team. I think he lost the offense maybe 1-2 weeks ago. I think the way the defense was playing, especially in that second half, man, I'm telling you, he's a good defensive coach. He has it's not discipline, stupid penalties, drop passes, fumbles, and again, you shouldn't pin what happened with Gibson at the beginning of the week, beginning of the game on Saleh, but there's something to it. There just seems to be a void of leadership, and obviously it's not coming from the quarterback, who is fucking terrible. But it's just depressing because we can't do anything about it because with Aaron Rodgers there, it's a domino effect, and Hack has to say. So it's just, I don't know, bro. I've been a Jets fan too long, man. I appreciate you being like Dr. Melfi for us, man.
Dude,
I feel like Tony Soprano every time I call you.
Dude, it just sucks. It feels like we're stuck in this situation for another year, and we're looking and praying and hoping a 40-year-old quarterback comes off an Achilles injury, which is usually a career ender, and can lead us to the promised land. Like that, you have to draft a quarterback or find a way to draft a quarterback. And I think Bryce Huff is the key to doing that. I really do.
Yeah, like you said, they have to franchise him because he's not even under contract, but they have to franchise. Yeah. I agree with you. Listen, Will McDonald had the one good play, and that's the only time I saw him today, but you're absolutely right. It's going to have to be Huff and move into the second round and see from there.
Fabian, thank you so much for the call. Been ejected from the cockpit. Let's go over to D, the Observer. D, how you doing tonight, brother? D, I got you muted. Can you unmute yourself? Give it a try. Going once. Going twice. You know what? I see D, the Observer. Oh, there you go, D. Can you hear me?
My bad, bro.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm just sitting back listening to you guys and everything. I think I also think it's crazy that we're gonna expect a 40-year-old quarterback to come in here next year and just turn everything around, especially when he's got Nathaniel Hackett, running the show. I wouldn't have even hired Hackett in the first place, last year. I wouldn't have even brought Aaron Rodgers in. What I would have done is I would have. See, you draft Zach Wilson at number 2. You kind of got to get 3 years out of him to see what's there. And there's a lot of potential. There's like top 5 quarterback.
No. No. I'm sorry. I do not agree with that. You do not give Zach Wilson an unauthorized 3rd year after the first 2 years you saw and not go with the quarterback. I mean, I understand you not wanting Rodgers. That's okay. There was legitimate discussion about going after Lamar. And if I knew you were going to take a D end in McDonald, I would have authorized, in my mind, not that I have any sort of say on this, but I would have authorized the selection or not selection, the trading for Lamar Jackson and give him the monster contract. Sure, why not? Why not? Outside of that, like Carr, man, he's exciting, but I understand people not wanting to necessarily go with Carr. I don't know. Cousins is going to be an option in the offseason. I think we're stuck with Rodgers, though. I think Rodgers definitely here. I think you got to draft a quarterback. That would be the play in my book. Omar, how you doing tonight, brother?
Hey, Ryan. I know it's a tough one. I'm searching.
You're usually a pretty positive dude.
Yeah, and I'm searching for it, but I just want to counter a lot of things that people are saying when they talk about drafting another quarterback.
Sure.
You'd still be here with Hackett. You'd still be here with this so-called complex system that no one can learn. You get what I'm saying? And you're making a good point, Ryan, and saying, well, then we'd be stuck with, I got to tell you, and you may not like this. This is the Rodgers plan. I don't know what they discussed when they went out to California, but I got a feeling it went something like this. I'll come there, but sign on, and then everything else, and it's been signed off. So Salah's coming back, even though I know a lot of us are frustrated. I'm frustrated.
Yep.
Salah said in his presser, everything was bad today. Everything was bad. I love Zach. He was bad. Everything was bad. Everything was bad.
Sure.
So, and he's now started 30-something. He's now started 30-something games, and so we now have a better look and feel of it. You can make the argument, hey, it hasn't. You can make the argument it wasn't all him, right? So where do we go then? Again, we brought Rodgers here and we signed up for all this, and this is just the way it's going to go.
So what do you do with the draft pick, the first round pick? If right now we're sitting in the top 10, we're at number 9 right now.
O-line, wide receiver, running back, playmakers. And then someone said something about veteran quarterbacks. That might be the way to go. Can we really draft a quarterback? If we get rid of Zach, can we draft anybody? I'm not impressed seriously by anybody in this draft. I feel like they all need work. There's such a jump from college to the NFL nowadays, especially with this whole mentality of you have to win from the pocket, and all these freak athletic guys come from college and they're not in the pocket.
I'm not seeing that though. I'm seeing Herbert. I'm seeing Tua. I'm seeing Burrow. I'm seeing Stroud. I'm seeing Richardson. I'm seeing Levis. I'm seeing all these young guys have success all over the field, and like freaking Stroud is missing like 4 of his 5 offensive linemen, and he's going for like record numbers for a rookie. Like that's how you do it right. And I don't know. Maybe it is veteran quarterback that the Jets need, because maybe
we still got to coach it. We still got to coach it, Ryan. We still got to coach it. We do. Who's going to coach it? You know what I'm saying? Like there's an aspect to all these things. There are things that are on top of things.
I think Douglas, Salah, and Hackett are all here for next year. I think Zach is going to be the sacrificial lamb. Maybe Calabrese gets the boot and they say, oh, it's the quarterback coach. He's the reason. Like maybe that's the guy that gets the axe. I don't know. I'm with you. I think Douglas, Salah, and Hackett are safe, unfortunately.
By the way, just because it's a short week, I start Zach, but then after that, I understand the short leash of going somewhere else.
I would start Zach on Friday. I don't think. Maybe you make Simeon number 2. I don't think Boyle's the answer.
Yeah.
But I
watched the whole game, and I watched the whole game, and it wasn't great from Tim. But was it Tim or was it the offensive line? I don't know, man.
The answer's yes. It's probably both. It's probably a little bit of both. I don't think Zach's the answer. I do think he's probably the highest ceiling, which is what we've heard from Salah the whole season. I just think
we all had hope that Rodgers could help. We all had hope that Rodgers could help him, but then we put Zach in the worst position to succeed. So.
Yeah,
It's a mess all the way around. It's a mess all the way around.
Rodgers goes down week 1. You say, hey, Zach's going to start the next 2 games while we get someone in here to learn the playbook. The plan is for him to sit, for the entire season. It sucks. We wanted him to be the backup behind Rodgers. This is too early. And I think they just should have admitted it at that point. But I felt like, Woody didn't want to spend more money.
Yeah, and I would also say that if they're going to draft a quarterback, remember how pissed Rodgers was in Green Bay? Is he going to say, hey, I want you guys to draft another quarterback? They may just have to get 2 veterans. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, don't do this to me. You and your positive vibes, Omar. See what you're doing. I got Afram on the line. Let me just jump over to some super chats, then I'll hop over to you, buddy. CJ says, did Buddy just say Zach has potential? Laugh my ass off. Yeah, he said he wanted to get a 3rd year. I had to eject his ass. I was not dealing with that. Sorry. Blitzkrieg comes in and says, if giving up Huff gets a quarterback, hate to say it, worth it. I've been saying this for like 2 weeks now. Maybe even longer than that. I think the contract you'd have to sign Huff to is going to be far too big. And I would franchise tag him because Becton's not worth the tag. And I would trade Bryce Huff for a late 1st or an early 2nd and draft one of these young quarterbacks coming out. You cannot afford to let the teams at the very top of the 2nd round get a chance at those quarterbacks. They're going to take 2 or 3 quarterbacks at the top of that 2nd round. If you can get into the back end of the 1st, that's what I would like to see. And I would not make that trade with Huff until draft night, so that way it's a surprise. I don't want to make the trade and sit there and be like, oh, there's this quarterback falling into the Jets' laps. No. I want it to be a surprise that this is happening. Lewis comes in and says, Geno Smith out here balling. Don't remind me. Kenneth comes in, says, tag Huff, sadly trade him, top 6 pick, trade down for more picks, play the board, Daniels O-line in that order. I completely agree, Kenneth. Completely agree. I would trade Huff for the pick. I would then trade down from the top of the draft for another team looking to come up and get, probably Penix is probably the name that you'd be looking at. Unless there's like a generational offensive lineman there, but I would take a bunch of shots at offensive linemen and just load up the roster. O-line, bring in some free agent wide receivers and tag Huff, trade him for the pick at the end of the 1st and get a quarterback. That's the play. And everyone's going to start talking about that now, but I've been talking about it for a while. I should have made a video about this weeks ago. It's all right. Everyone can hop on the bandwagon. Afram, how you doing tonight, brother?
As good as anyone else's right now.
Dude, what do we do from here?
I don't know. I don't have any confidence in any of them at this point to do the right thing or to make a proper decision.
I completely agree.
This team just didn't. Once again, this team, I don't know what it is. Must win, and you don't show up for the game. You just don't show up.
We've had must-win games for the last 3 weeks, and I felt like 6-26 or whatever it was, the Chargers run right over. The Raiders, honestly, I didn't feel like we had a shot. It never felt like it sucks. It feels like this offense is just not going anywhere, and I feel like Hackett's the problem, and we're not getting rid of Hackett.
Well, I can tell you, it's not Zach either. Zach just waits for an open guy. He's just not a quarterback. It's simple as that. I agree. 3 years, and you can't figure it out after 3 years. Let's be serious here. The worst thing they ever did was anoint him as the backup to Rodgers. He should have been the 3rd string and a veteran quarterback. And $2 or $3 million, you could have had somebody. Yep. Okay, instead of paying Cook whatever he got, or Lazard $11 million to hug players.
Dude, how about Cook just retiring on the field and just giving up on that pass blocking? That's why he wasn't in on 3rd downs forever. And that's why Michael Carter was. Michael Carter wouldn't miss that blitz pickup, but dude, Michael Carter had to fall on a sword that the people that should have had to fall on the sword didn't fall on.
You just basically what's going to happen is this offense is not going to move the ball. The defense is just going to keep wearing down. It's 10 games in. What is it now? 10 games in. They're just going to be like last year. It's just going to wear out. The body can't take that, even with the 60%. The defense is just going to wear down again, and they won't be able to hold anybody. You can't rely on them all the time, to be on the field more than the offense is on the field. It's just sad the way that I don't get it. And as long as Woody's under this team, I don't think anything's going to happen.
Are you going to allow this regime to draft the quarterback, knowing we're probably not getting a head coaching and GM change while Rodgers is here?
The question is,
right? Oh, it's a kick in the
Are they
dick.
going to still hold on to this kid and say that he's an inch away from breaking through when
I think they
everyone
will.
else sees it
I think
different?
I think they're going to
Well,
get a
then,
veteran quarterback as the backup. They're going to trade down from whatever they're going to do. They're going to pass on the quarterbacks that they should have taken this upcoming draft. I see it. It's the wallpapers on the wall. Like I can read it all. I've been here a million times. I know what's going to happen. It sucks.
I don't see it. If they make him the backup to Rodgers again, it's done. It's over with.
Afram.
Or
I was hoping
the
for happy
prerequisite
news.
for an
You made
O
me
line
sad.
is 33 and over nowadays with this team. I know you
Yeah.
can't just grab. Everyone says you should have got this. No one's giving up offensive linemen. So the
No.
only option is the draft, and unfortunately, only been two guys that they drafted that are youthful, and that's Ver Tucker and Tipman. That is it.
Yep.
Hopefully
Carter Warren shows us something the rest of the way out. That's like the only thing I might be looking at, right? Right?
You could be as optimistic, and I've been the most optimistic guy for the
Glass
Jet
half
fan.
full.
No, my glass is broken, dude. My glass is broken.
Afram, thank you so much for the call, brother. I've got Chris from Florida, then Tom, then Max. Let me just go to Iceman real quick. Or Ice Mike. Ice Mike, what's up, dude? Thank you for the super chat. He says, Salah is full of BS, false bravado, and a complete tool. The man is a glorified car salesman who has no business running a team. Draft 6 offensive linemen. Dude, I'll be honest, I don't hate Salah. I really don't. I hate that Zach was our quarterback for this year. I don't know how much of that to put on Salah. Boyle doesn't look good. I want to see Simeon, so at least I can bitch and moan if Simeon looks decent and be like, we should have played him as soon as we got him, or after Zach started to fall apart. But I don't know. I'm frustrated with Salah. I am. I'm frustrated with the whole team. Frustrated with everyone. We got Chris from Florida join line. Chris, how you doing, dude?
What's going on, man?
Dude, this is the quietest I've ever heard you. Quietest I've ever heard you.
Yeah, honestly, it's rough. I don't really know what to say. This is super hard for me to just not even try and hype up everyone. It's just because it feels like the season's over. I saw your video literally before the game started about the whole hype about seeing Aaron Rodgers being seen on the practice field.
The video and like this. Oh, done.
This
so done.
confirmed to me after watching this game, watching this offensive line, and watching how the team is playing around this amazing defense we have. It just solidified me to say, bench Rodgers, do not touch him, keep him healthy. Just focus on getting some offensive linemen. Hopefully Hackett can talk to Rodgers and come up with some decent plans. But in all honesty, Ryan, like, just salvage your defense, because even though people hate Salah, we all know he's not an offensive guy, that defense is so unbelievable. This is the worst game we've seen this defense play in literally over 10 games. And you're bound to have one bad game, but this defense has just been lights out. I don't know
how
what to
much
say.
of that is they let up 9 points to start the game, and we had like nothing to show for it. Like the offense just can't get anything going. Like it's got to be like exhausting going out there, play after play, just knowing Allen's gonna get you at some point, and you don't even stand a chance. There's no shot. There's no like long drives. It never happens. We had the one for the touchdown.
Exactly.
That was it.
Even the special teams, when they messed up, they came back and they were like, you know what? Let's get a first down right here. Let's do a crazy play.
Loved it.
I don't know,
Morstead,
Ryan. Best of luck next year. Yeah, next year. Let's say JETS, Jets.
Chris from Florida. That's depressing. That is the most upset I've ever seen him. He usually has so much energy coming on here. Tom, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
I've called before. We've chatted before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's unfair to load on Salah, Salah. I think Salah's doing the best he can. I think there's a lot of, the Vietnam War wasn't lost by the military. Maybe some of the top brass was involved in that. I mean, as a poor example, but
I see what you're going for. I understand it.
Yeah, like there's some political stuff always going on in these franchises, and some Jerry Jones has been accused of shooting the team in the foot for. You know what I mean?
Dude,
Like,
you can't convince me that the Jets didn't force season ticket holders to buy their 2024 season tickets because they knew the rest of the season was going to go right down the crapper, and they forced them to buy it in November. I feel so bad for the season ticket holders this year.
yeah, I feel bad for every Jets fan, including myself. But yeah, I think Zach. I mean, I've been the harshest critic of Zach to this point. I think Zach has improved. I mean, it's funny. I'm originally from New York, but I live in Kentucky, and my job brings me to Richmond, Kentucky, quite often, and that's where EKU is, which is Boyle's. Boyle played there one year, apparently, which I was really psyched to hear. And then he kind of, I can't really condemn him either. Like, I mean, this offensive line is a joke. We disagreed on Alvin Cook, and I said O-line. A lot of guys, people said Alvin Cook.
I don't think
there's
there was
no right
any
or wrong.
offensive lineman you could really bring in though at that point. That's the kicker, right? Like, you didn't want to have to rely on the old offensive lineman that we got. Like, Becton is an injury risk right off the bat, and Brown, you were hoping that, like, with surgery he would rebound even better than he was because he was playing with the injury all last year, and he played well last year, or at least good enough. And you've seen better play from Tomlinson. I feel like it sucks. We've had so many injuries across 2 years on the offensive line, and I don't understand it. Like, I feel like good quarterback play absolves the offensive line to some degree, but, like,
yeah,
I don't know. There's only so many bodies you can throw at something.
True that. I think that Salah is kind of like Salah. It's ironic that Hackett came here because they're kind of like the same dude. Like, you know what I mean? They're both like considered geniuses at their positions, but then when they head coach, like Salah to me, and I hate to pile on to him, I think he's doing a good job overall, but he's just one of those guys. Like, I hate when they cut to the coach, and he's like he's like two like he's like just like for like 30 seconds, like if they want to go for a 2-point play or a 2-point conversion, and he's like two like it just shows. I mean, it's like famously there's an old Hard Knocks where Herm Edwards, when he was the coach, I think it was the Kansas City Chiefs, I can't remember, but he drove ahead of the team to training camp and spent 3 hours making like a ridiculous collage to thank the team. If somebody can find this, it's like I just think that like some of these coaches get so embroiled in the motivation and the being the head coach that they lose sight of what they're actually there to do. And I don't know. I think Salah's kind of lost sight of that myself. But
do you
who
bring
knows?
in a new head coach in the offseason, and do you let
No.
this regime take a quarterback in the top of this draft?
I don't know. I mean, where has it gotten us so far? Like, who the hell knows? Sorry for the language, but like, who knows? Like, at this point, are we cursed? Like,
Dude, it feels like
I
it.
don't know. I don't know what to do. That's why I can't condemn anyone really, except for maybe Zach, because he has improved, but is he really the guy that's going to bring us to the promised land ever?
Doesn't feel like it. Tom, thank you so much for the call. Been ejected from the cockpit. Blitzcrew comes in, says, have to wonder, did Aaron require Zach to be his backup? Is that why JD and Salah stuck with him as the backup? So let me answer that first part first. I don't think so. I don't think that Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh, or I don't think, put it this way, I don't think Rodgers required Zach to be the backup. I think what happened, and I was honestly on board with it. It made sense to me at the time, because Rodgers doesn't miss games. The whole point with me and Rodgers and me and Carr, those two particular options, sorry, I felt like I was going to sneeze, was that they don't miss games. So you could have Zach as the backup, and Zach at worst would have to come in 2-3 games. And the idea was, if Rodgers or Carr seriously went down with an Achilles or an ACL or like a major injury that would require them to lose time, it won't matter who the backup is because we're going to lose a lot of games. I was wrong. On that. It should have been a veteran quarterback back there. At the very least, when you lose Rodgers on the first series of the season, you should have gone out and at least said, like, look, Zach's not the guy. Now, I do think Rodgers had something to say with, like, hey, I want to come back this year. I want to do something no one's ever done. And the Jets suck so fucking bad that we can't even just muster up bare minimum quarterback play to win a few games. We couldn't even just hold out to do some miraculous comeback with Aaron Rodgers. And that's what sucks, because he was going to do something really special this year. And I think it's Douglas trying to save face for the number 2 overall pick, thinking the way I thought, with Rodgers not missing many games, if any at all, and Zach would at least get a full year behind him. You'd roll into next season, and you try to reassess after those 2 years behind Rodgers. I don't fault him for that, but as soon as Rodgers went down, you should have got a quarterback. And even then, I was not even like, let's just see what Zach has to do. Why not? Short week against Dallas. Well, we saw enough. As far as Huff for a late first, early 2, use the first pick on an offensive tackle, second on a quarterback, get Garrett some help. Draft as much offensive line depth, please. I'm with you, Blitzkrieg. I am. I want to trade Huff for a late first, early second. And I want to take a quarterback. And I'm fine with Douglas taking the quarterback. I don't question Douglas's eye for talent so much. I think they got screwed by way of the COVID season with the quarterback class. Like, in hindsight, Zach's not the pick at 2. Fields isn't the pick at 2. Mac Jones isn't the pick at 2. Trey Lance isn't the pick at 2. The whole move would have been to trade down, still trade Sammy Boy away. I'd still move on from him, get the second round pick. But now you're just punting on quarterback for another season and another season. So I playing this hindsight thing for me with the Zach stuff. It just sucks. We got screwed hard, real hard. J-Boy says, look at the bigger pictures. Rodgers will help the young with the quarterback they bring in because he's going to buy a part of the team after he's done playing. Yeah, right. I hope the Jets sell the team to Rodgers. I'm done with Woody. I'm done. I don't know. I got Anthony joining the show. Anthony, how you doing tonight, dude?
Ryan, I'm doing a lot better than you, buddy.
Why, are you a Dolphin or Bills fan? You jerk.
Ryan, I've been a Jet fan longer than you've been alive, my friend.
Damn.
But in listening to you, some of your soliloquy, I want to say this quickly because I think you're a fan of Joe.
Sure,
and when I mean Joe, I mean Douglas, not Namath. Okay?
Oh, yeah. Namath has that damn curse over our head.
There's really only one Joe ever. My thing here with Joe is Woody and the boys broke?
So I heard rumors earlier this year, and I think I don't know if it was Deanna Rossini or Josina Anderson. It was one of the two of them. Said that the Jets had spent the second most money in terms of cash spent, not cap hit. Cap hit refers to the allocation of how the money hits each year. Cash spent is actually signing bonus that are all paid out in 1 year and all this other stuff. So they were saying, hey, the money flow is tapped out for this year. So they're not going after another quarterback. We've already spent the assets. We're sunk. This is what we got.
But to me, I'm sorry not to cut you. It's before the year. You see, the reason why I don't flow with you with the we can have Joe pick another quarterback.
Sure.
When he got here, Darnold was going into his second year. He wasted $9 million on a center who no longer wanted to play. Okay.
Yeah, but if you remember, Joe Douglas was brought in after the draft and after free agency. So there was no options at center or any offensive lineman. So he took a swing at a Pro Bowl guy that just retired.
That's fine.
I understand the swing. It didn't work, but I appreciate what he tried to do.
That's fine, and it's only money because it's not his money. But Darnold was a second-year player. So he took the job knowing that Darnold was going to be his quarterback. How did that work out with him putting pieces around Darnold?
I don't think that's necessary. I mean, I think he's fine because it's okay, look, I've got a shot with Darnold, and then I get to make my selection at quarterback. And I don't think I think the way the roster was constructed around Sam was so horrible through all the years of McCagnon that it took till honestly last year for us to have a competent offense, or not a competent offense, a competent team overall. And last year and this year should have been Super Bowl window for the Jets, and we just didn't have the quarterback. And that what they do in the offseason, they said, hey, Zach's not the guy. Let's go out and get our guy. And we got Rodgers, and that was a great move. I support the move. I still support the move to this day. It sucks. We got so screwed week 1, and we should have brought in a backup at that point in time.
You had a backup. His name was Mike White. This is why I asked.
But Mike White was a free agent.
With the money?
You're not.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're not going to retain Mike White as quarterback 3 when Mike White can go to a division rival in Miami, a hometown. He's from Florida. He was going down there to play with Tyreek Hill and Waddle because Tua could never stay healthy. The Jets were not going to pass on the $10 million dead cap hit that Wilson would have been if we cut him to retain another $10 million quarterback in Mike White here. It just was not going to happen.
But you didn't cut Wilson. Anyway, I know you got to run.
No.
Ryan,
What I'm saying is he's costing us $10 million with or without. So if we had cut him, it would have cost an additional 10 on top of it.
Here's the thing.
It would have cost us $20 million to move off of Zach.
Here's the thing. What winning organizations do. Remember when Seattle signed Flynn and they drafted Russell Wilson?
Yes.
Remember that money? That money was so fresh. That money, the ink hadn't even dried. And as an organization, they said that guy cannot play or he's not better than who we drafted. Anyway, I know you got to run, Ryan. We'll talk
No.
again.
But I want to hear from you. What was the answer then? Because I just told you they're not going to spend the extra money on White, knowing they got the sunk cost of Wilson. So your answer was to run Mike White out there this year.
Okay, hold on. So let's move off Mike White. What did Minnesota do when their starting quarterback got hurt?
They traded for Dobbs. I'm not faulting that.
They're not
I'm telling you, they should have made the move as soon as Rodgers got hurt.
But
I was the one pushing for Cousins at the time.
But
now
they
Cousins
weren't
tore
even
his Achilles,
trying. But they weren't even trying. Minnesota wasn't really trying to win. They were in like a funny quagmire kind of space where if they had punted on the season once their quarterback got hurt, who could have blamed them? They didn't.
Sure.
You see,
well, I think they had to sell tickets too. I think making the move for Dobbs wasn't like a franchise saving move. Like I don't think that was the intent of it. You don't trade a late, like a 6th round pick, and that's your like deemed franchise saving move. I think it's more of like hey, this guy can at least run the offense. Let's see what we got. Let's run it back, and then like they're kind of winning games. I don't think it was supposed to be as good as it actually worked out to be. I think this is a little bit of surprise. And I also think Minnesota has one of the best offensive lines in football. That's why Dalvin Cook looked decent last year, even though he had one of the worst yards over expected. Like one of the worst.
How good an offensive line is Texans with CJ Stroud?
They're not. That's what I'm saying. The number 2 overall pick should be better than what we're getting out of Zach Wilson. I 100% agree with that.
We cannot keep making excuses for Joe. You cannot keep doing this, Ryan. They were not equipped. The man's where he's hanged his hat on, or where he should have hanged, or where we thought he was hanging his hat on, was someone who knows how to build an offensive line.
So, but no, here's what I'm trying to say to you. Like, I like what Douglas tried to do on offensive line. The first draft he had, he took the best, or arguably the best tackle in the draft. There were question marks with the popped, marijuana test at the combine. I 100% understand that. But Becton looked good. Never had injury history before that. AVT never had injury history before this. Both of them getting knocked out for the season twice. What'd he do? He drafted a 2nd-round center in Timmon, who looks pretty good, but you got those 2 guys. You brought in a tight end to play tackle, and Fant gave you a few good years. You brought in Morgan Moses. He gave you a few decent years, but because you spent the pick on Becton, you kind of owed it to at least see what that top 11 pick has in him. So like it's like circumstance and injury that's kind of screwed us here. You brought in Laken Tomlinson off the same offense that Mike LaFleur was running, and he turned into a pumpkin last year. Like I don't blame Douglas for like the swings he took at offensive line. I blame him for not bringing in a quarterback, not having a relevant backup to put in place after Rodgers went down, and like relying on Dwayne Brown. Like the offensive line I think we should have seen from the beginning of this season was Becton left tackle, Tomlinson, McGovern, Tippmann, AVT. That felt like the best 5 offensive linemen across the board. But for whatever reason, we didn't want to play Tippmann to start the season. And I don't put that on Douglas. I put that on Saleh.
Who's the head of the organization? Who's the head of the organization? I'm sorry, it's Aaron Rodgers.
Woody? Yeah, but like, are you saying you would have? What would you have done differently? Would you not have put Aaron Rodgers?
What I'm saying is,
or what's the? I don't know what the move was. What are you saying?
No, what I'm saying is, the moment you decided to get in the Aaron Rodgers business,
sure,
You could not park a Hugo where a Phantom parks. They half-assed it. That's why I started the conversation asking you, are Woody and the boys broke? Because they were depending on a 39-year-old left tackle who had never played right tackle since college to come and protect the blind side of a 4-time MVP. That
Sure.
can't be planning. That couldn't have been.
No, but Brown
The
played
man had a
decent, and he had the surgery to
yeah,
play, like,
yeah,
to heal
yeah.
up. Honestly, what I'm feeling like when you have Brown, I'm not feeling comfortable with Brown by any means. They drafted the tackle in Warren to be a developmental guy. They were hoping to get another year from Brown like they got last year, just baseline average tackle play. The dude got hurt immediately. We don't know if he's even going to come back. He's got to be active for Friday. If he's not active for Friday, he's out the rest of the year. Then you got Becton, who, like, ideally, you wanted to see him earn the left tackle spot, but admittedly, Becton, like, doesn't. I think the Becton and I think the first draft is a little bit more of a punt because of
That's
the
fine.
way the combine kind of went. It was a weird year because of COVID. And then the following season with Zach, we fell head over heels with a guy that wasn't playing anyone in a half-ass season from college football, playing behind 23 and 24-year-old offensive linemen. So I put more fault on Douglas for the lack of a backup quarterback. I put, blame on Saleh for these mental errors or not bringing in the younger guys earlier or not activating Simeon. I don't know why Simeon hasn't been activated. He was brought in just before the Chiefs game. Zach has his best game of his career against the Chiefs. Why wouldn't you at least activate Simeon to put some pressure on Zach? Like, I feel like that's a Saleh move. And, like, I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Is it a Saleh move, or he just washed his hands of it because he's so enamored by Aaron Rodgers comes and stands next to him on the sideline, and Aaron Rodgers brought in his offensive coordinator? You still have to coach the entire team. Whether the 4-time MVP is looking at you certain ways or not, it's not him who's going to get fired. It's going to be you, because his overall record in 3 years here is pathetic.
I put more blame on the quarterback. I think Zach is more the reason why we have not had success than it is Douglas or Saleh. And maybe I'm wrong on that. Anthony, thank you so much for the call. I'm going to beat my head against the wall if I keep talking to you. I appreciate it. It was a thought-provoking conversation. But I think Zach has been the issue over the last 3 years more than Saleh and JD have been the issue over the last few years. Isaac, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, man, how's it going?
I don't know. Talk to me, dude. Talk me off a ledge.
I think you kind of hinted at towards the end of that conversation you just had with Zach probably being more of the issue than we think. I mean, we look back last year with Mike White and the small stint he did have. I think a lot of people have forgotten that he was playing like injured. I think in a few of those games where he didn't play too well, but the times that he was in there managing LaFleur's offense, as bum as that offense was with the play calling, it was good enough for them to be a playoff team.
Sure.
But the one thing I like what Joe Douglas, like you said, has done on the attempts with the offensive line and what he swung on. But man, he's also just made some boneheaded decisions, I feel like, when it comes to like Lazard, Uzama, signing Conklin as well, and then they draft another tight end. And then
I don't think Conklin's a bad swing. Like I think Conklin's a fine player. Uzama was, I think, more of a leadership locker room type role. And this year feels a lot worse from Uzama. Like last year, I didn't feel the same way about him in particular. I think when you look at some of the players that were brought in, I don't know. What would you say the biggest issue was overall? Like, is it?
Well, it doesn't make sense where I think Conklin has been a fine addition to the team, but then like you have Uzama signed and then they go and draft Ruckert and then Ruckert's never used, and he's shown a lot of really good flashes when he is in there. And so you're just like, well, why, you're trying to find a spark with something, right? On this team.
But you don't plan on drafting Ruckert before you sign Uzama and Conklin. Like you brought in Uzama and Conklin to try and shore up the tight end room. And then, honestly, the Jets weren't even thinking about drafting Max Mitchell, Ruckert, and Clemens. They were trying to trade those 3 picks to get back up into the first round to get Breece Hall. They had no intention of using those picks, and those were just kind of lucky players that we fell into. And I like Ruckert. Clemens has been, he's been a no-show this year. I think he's got to drop some weight, get back to where he was last year. And Mitchell just, unfortunately, has not looked very good.
One last thing. I was kind of joking around with one of my other friends, and we were talking about the Michael Carter release, and I was like, man, you wouldn't. I said it's kind of funny because how cheap the Vikings got Dobbs for. I think it was like a 6th-round pick. I was like, you're telling me that the Cardinals wouldn't have fielded like a 7th-round pick and Michael Carter. And then the next day, we wake up and you see Cardinals claim Michael Carter. I'm like, God damn! Like it just feels like in terms of some of the random signings that we've done with like Cook and whatnot, and it just seems like these are almost layups that we could do to help the team. But at the end of the day, like the future of the franchise, I don't want to say it's grim or. I don't want to say it's impossible to turn it around next year because we just don't know, because this is going to be one of the biggest what ifs probably in NFL history, honestly, with Aaron Rodgers going down. And with him going down, it plays such a huge factor on how you look at the draft. You mentioned it. Do you go after a quarterback? Like you have a couple good quarterbacks this year that
there's like 7. There's a
lot.
Well,
the thing too with this draft that I think a lot of people always overlook is there's a lot of quarterbacks who have a lot of play time in college football against good opponents with good success. You have Nix, Penix. I don't want to throw Caleb Williams in there just yet.
I don't like Caleb or May. I don't want either one. And I'm glad they're going to be gone by the time we pick.
Correct. And I think like a guy like Caleb Williams, he could be good in the NFL, but he's got to be he's like one of those guys, kind of like Sam Darnold, oddly enough, both USC quarterbacks, but they need to be in the right place at the right time for them to be good. Otherwise, you get that bust label put on them. But, I just feel like the future it's not bad, but there's a lot of gray area because of Rodgers going down. If we didn't have Rodgers on his team, right, and we were going with Zach Wilson, and you're looking at the draft, I think everyone's just like, all right, we got Penix or Nix coming on for this team, and now we're like, God, what if Aaron Rodgers at 40? What is he going to be? 41-ish.
He'll
next
be
year?
40. He turns 40 in December.
Okay, so it's like, this Hackett and Rodgers tandem, it's got to hit home next year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Jets were all in on the 2 years. And I should clarify. I see someone very upset that I said I don't want or I don't like Caleb Williams or Drake May. I don't want the Jets to make either one of those selections. I think they're absolutely worthy of being top 5 picks, but they are so boom or bust. And there's like 7 quarterbacks in this draft. I would much rather take a swing at a quarterback at the end of the first, beginning of the second, than like a top 5 pick. I'm sorry. If I'm the Giants and I'm sitting at pick 3 and May's there, or I shouldn't even say if May's there. Like, let's say Caleb Williams and May go 1-2. If I'm the Giants sitting at 3, I'm okay taking Marvin Harrison Jr., who's supposed to be a generational talent at wide receiver, and then taking my quarterback in the second round. There's so many good ones. You're talking those 2 guys. Then you got Penix. You got Davis. You've got Ewers. You've got Bo Nix. You've got McCarthy. I don't think Sanders is coming out this year. I think he comes out the year after. But there's a lot of really good quarterbacks coming out this year that I think the drop off from quarterback 2 to quarterback 3, 4, 5 is not that different.
No, it's not. Do you think we're still reeling from the Patriots trade in the draft with the Steelers?
I was saying before the draft. So here's where this whole thing comes back to me. I think Woody Johnson and the NFL fucked over the Jets. I really, really do. You look at all the press conferences. I watch every fucking clip about Saleh and Douglas leading up to that whole trade. And both of them, We don't need a quarterback to come in that knows the system until training camp. They could be towards the end of training camp. The critical point was before game one. It was before game one. And I don't think the Packers would have let it get that far. I think you could have traded for Rodgers and made a similar trade and not moved down from 13 to 15. The minute you made that trade was because you wanted the primetime games. This was a money move. You wanted the primetime games from the NFL schedule that was coming out 2 weeks later. You wanted Hard Knocks. This was a money move that forced Douglas's hand, it forced Salah's hand, and we forgoed the left tackle in Broderick Jones, who really, I'll be honest, was not playing great at the beginning part of the season, but has kind of come on as of recently. He was my favorite tackle coming out in this draft. That was like reasonable for us to kind of be in position for. So I don't blame the Patriots from letting the Steelers jump in front of us. I blame Woody and I blame the NFL for trying to get as much money as possible from this Rodgers deal rather than letting the Jets make a smart financial and trade decision over the summer the way it should have been.
Got it. Well, good conversation, but dude,
I appreciate you calling in, Isaac.
Yeah, no problem, man. Take care.
Take it easy. All right, I've got the kid coming on. The kid, how you doing tonight?
Brian, what's going on?
Dude, I'm just getting fired up. I'm fired up right now.
Well, I agree with that caller about JD.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's really the problem. I think that we giving him a pass just because of Garrett, Sauce, and Breece Hall. You know,
sure.
If it wasn't for that, his draft and his offseason, free agents, haven't been that well. You know,
sure.
And, the other problem I have is with Saleh. I think Saleh he's just too friendly. It seems like he wants to be a friend instead of a coach. You know what I'm saying? And
sure.
he wants people to like him, and not dislike him. Like,
so I think that's the forward personality that we see. I think it's Saleh protecting his guys because we got to see behind the scenes in Hard Knocks, and he absolutely chewed out the offensive line in, I think it was episode 2 or 3, whatever it was against the Panthers. Like, that was a great rant by Saleh. I don't think he's like this behind closed doors.
That's true. And we all know that Zach's a bum. There's no way to sugarcoat it, And the problem I have with JD, and I heard you say this, what happens if we get like a top pick, like who do we let select, And I don't want JD picking the quarterback because when Zach Wilson, what draft was that? 3 years ago, right?
That was 2021.
21, okay. When the season ended, tell me if I'm wrong, but didn't the Jets, their top pick was Zach Wilson without even doing no due diligence? First pick, everybody was saying that they love Zach Wilson without even.
They were saying the throw in, what was it? The pro day was what sold them.
Correct. So I just feel like I don't want to start all over because I know we have Aaron Rodgers, but I feel like we just need to clean house and start over again because, like, I can't even watch these games, honestly. Like, it's getting to the point where it's unwatchable, especially on offense. And then,
my issue with the whole Zach pick is I feel like there were red flags at the time. Like, I understand people saying, hey, it's an abbreviated season with COVID. There's some weird stuff going on. Realistically, the Jets should have taken the trade back and just loaded up the roster with more good players. Or you sit still and you take Jamar Chase, you take Penei Sewell, you do whatever. But the right move was not quarterback. But at a weird point in time, you have a new head coach coming in. They should select their quarterback. And it just turns out that, like, a class that was deemed, wow, this was a great quarterback class coming in. Mac Jones sucks. Trey Lance sucks. Wilson sucks. Fields sucks. Like, it's across the board. So there wasn't a right pick at 2. And then if you trade down and you punt on the quarterback for the year, the following year's quarterback class was Kenny fucking Pickett. So, like, you're kind of screwed either way unless you're bringing in a vet. Like, that was ultimately where it winds up because I think trading Zach for the second round pick was the right move. But, man, quarterback just sucks.
And the last point I'm going to make is the game today, like, Zach got – and then they put Boyle in. But can you just tell the difference, like, how Boyle got in? He sucks, too. But can you tell when he was decisive and kind of knew where to go with the ball? Like, you could just tell that he's a better quarterback than Zach Wilson. I'm not saying he's, head and shoulders above him, but he just knew where to go.
This is 2 years in a row. We've seen backup quarterbacks come in and play reasonably well. Like, I don't think Boyle's good. I thought he was bad from the beginning. I don't think he posed any threat to like benching Zach. But at the very least, I can look at Zach and say, this team is really good without Zach.
Correct.
And I don't know what to do because they made their bed with Zach. They didn't want to take a backup quarterback this year. And I don't know if it's Woody and maybe there's some conspiracy with the JetBlue stuff and the sponsorship. I don't believe that to be true. But dude, it sucks. It really sucks because there's no real good answer to it. This year felt like a really good answer. Like, you could have had Carr, which, I don't know how great that would have been, pro or con.
I'm watching Carr.
I like Carr.
He's boisterous. If you ever watch, like, he be yelling at his players and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no. It's not that I don't like Carr. I like Carr, and I would have been fine with getting Carr because I didn't think Rodgers was realistically an option until once we got Hackett. Then I was like, oh shit, this is actually like possibly happening.
That's true.
But I think the home run swing was for Rodgers. I think that was the way to possibly not overcome, but maybe salvage your number 2 overall pick in Zach, which is, I think, all Douglas wanted to do at this point. Let's get the best quarterback for this team, which was Rodgers. It just sucks because now with Rodgers out, Hackett is not the best offensive coordinator for this team. It was never going to be the case with that. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. So last question, what do you think we do for Friday, for Black Friday?
I think Wilson probably starts. I hope Simeon is backup so we can pull Zach if needed. And then I think after that is when we see Simeon start. I would like to win as many games as possible to feel confident going into next season. I really don't want to actively tank. If they want to actively tank, I think they have to keep Zach out on the field. I think Zach does have the highest ceiling, but there's just no point in I don't say there's no point in winning games. I just want to get our guys healthy through the season. Like, fucking deactivate Garrett and Brees. Just put them on a shelf. Hey, we're going to save you for next year.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Because, like you said, Friday, if we lose, season's over. Legitimately.
I mean, season's over right now. We got some lucky breaks with like quarterbacks going down and like other stuff, but like I'm not falling into the trap of maybe this could happen. Like I don't. There's no, even if you get into the playoffs, the offensive line is so decimated. There's like everyone's dejected. Just let's wipe our hands clean of this season and just move on. Move on. Thank you, the kid. Thank you so much for the call. I've got Jake joining the show. Jake, how you doing?
Thank you, the kid. Thank you so much for the call. I've got Jake joining the show. Jake, how you doing? Thank you, the kid.
Yo, I'm good. Sorry, I got this muted. I'm playing 2K. Let me pause this real quick.
Yo, I'm good. Sorry.
Dude, I hope you're playing 2K during the game because that game was not fun.
Everyone good?
I'm doing good.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You got me?
Anyways, you can hang up on me. I'll call back. Hang up on me.
All right. Jake, you've been ejected. You can call back. All right, let's just see if there's anything going on in the chat. I see you guys getting all fired up. Emilio says Justin Fields was the pick at 2. Stop the nonsense. Zach Wilson was the lowest QBR last 3 years. Nobody has been worse. I'm not saying Zach was the right pick. I'm saying Justin Fields is booty cheeks too. Like to the point where the Bears want to get rid of him. They're going to make a new pick at quarterback this year. If you believe Justin Fields was the pick at 2, then shouldn't the Bears not be taking a quarterback in this year's draft? And maybe they don't. Maybe that's not what winds up happening. But I tend to think the Bears will move on from Justin Fields. I really do. JK says, no way they can plan on Saleh coming back next year. My fear with that is that somehow Hackett gets head coaching job with Rodgers coming back. I 100% believe that to be true. I think if you fire Saleh, you're getting Hackett as a head coach. Lewis says, Rodgers really screwed us. Rodgers going down really screwed us. I'm not going to get upset with Douglas going after Rodgers. I think it was the correct move, and historically speaking, Rodgers doesn't get hurt. Like at all. This was like an all-timer for us. Farvian says, cry, cry, cry about Zach, as if this O-line, wide receiver corps, etc. ain't garbage. No, they are. I think decisive quarterback decisions would neutralize some of the offensive line issues. Wide receiver was going to be what it was. But in fairness, like we tried to go after Odell in the offseason. You had Corey Davis on the roster, and then he up and retired. So, I don't know. Smokey says, if we didn't sign Hardman and Cook, we'd have enough to have Mike White and cut Zach. So, look, they were not going to cut Zach. because it would have been a $20 million dead cap hit. We would have lost $10 million. I understand what you're saying. If you didn't have Hardman, if you didn't have Cook, you could have absorbed it. But they were really hoping to reclaim the number 2 overall pick by having Rodgers in front of him for the next year or two. They definitely wanted to make it seem like, oh, we're going to try and get Zach's head right, but they wanted Rodgers here for the foreseeable future, and I think they believed Rodgers would play longer than Zach's rookie contract anyway, but that was the long shot of them getting him. Not to mention there was that little caveat of like, okay, Rodgers plays all season, Zach looks great behind the scenes. Oh, we're going to trade him not because Zach stinks, but because Rodgers is committing longer than this 1 year. This is, surprise. We didn't expect this. We can't afford to keep Zach. I think that was ultimately the goal that they wanted to do and recoup some of the draft capital that they gave up for Rodgers. And it just like worst case scenario happened. Worst case scenario happened. Lewis says most of recent college quarterbacks have been garbage. It's because college is different than the pros, and pros or drafting and scouting quarterbacks is like the hardest thing. There's not even 32 good quarterbacks in the NFL. That's how hard it is. Willie says tank for a new quarterback. Greg says things are bad right now. The one thing that needs to happen this year is a win in week 18 to snap the godforsaken streak. I'll be honest, I don't even really want to win that game because that means New England's getting their quarterback of choice. And I kind of want to fuck it up for them as best I can. Even though that means we never beat Belichick in this final go of it, I honestly, I prefer winning against the Dolphins more than the Patriots at this point. King Blaze, my comment was blocked by YouTube. I don't know what you said. I can't see it on this side, but that's pretty funny. Jeremy says, old man hasn't gotten hurt before. He got old is a strategy, I guess. Also, that Douglas put together a team that needed to throw Hail Mary that is Rodgers should get him fired since Zach didn't. No. You didn't have to throw up the Hail Mary that was Rodgers. I think Rodgers was easily the best quarterback you can get. In a vacuum, are you saying you want, for 1 year, Aaron Rodgers, or you want Derek Carr? I'm sorry, I'm taking Aaron Rodgers every damn day. Even at, the late stage of his career. I can make enough excuses for last year's play for Aaron Rodgers that I can justify, hey, this dude's going to stay healthy. If he gives us top 20 quarterback play, this team's going to be filthy. If he winds up being MVP, we're easily going to get to a Super Bowl. Like, that's where you're sort of at with how good this defense is. So, yeah, he got old. It sucks. And he got hurt. I don't know. It's just Achilles don't just pop like all the time. Like, it's not a common injury. It feels common to us because we got 3 this year. But Rodgers has played every single game for the last bunch of years. 100%. I don't think it's crazy to think he would have played all season, even if there was a decline. I would have been fine with a declined Rodgers. I think it was a fine strategy. Just didn't work out. Paris says Rodgers was 39 coming off a down season with a broken throwing hand thumb. Jet fans should have expected him doing bad or getting hurt. I joked that he might get hurt since he is now a Jet. I think most people joked about him getting hurt being that he's a Jet. But he had a broken thumb on his throwing hand, throwing to players that he probably didn't want. And my thing with Rodgers is he should have never signed the contract with Green Bay. He should have left at that point. And I think he knew last season wasn't going to be that good. I don't know. It's frustrating. Edward says, must say the Chargers took the Lions to the max. Their defense got better against the Jets. Raiders game after halftime looked like the old Raiders on D and running game. I feel like we are the team to get right with. That's what it feels like. Joe S. says Mike White, or no NFL team has made Mike White a starter. I like Mike White. He just can't stay healthy. I would have loved to have him here. Perennial backup would be incredible, but I don't trust him to stay healthy through an entire season. We'd be right back to Zach anyway. Chris George says, can't foresee any big-time coaches hitting the market. Let's keep the coaching staff, bring a young up-and-coming guy as quarterback coach, and if shit looks bad next year, give the young guy a shot. I don't think that's the move. I do see some good head coaching candidates. Jim Harbaugh being like the headliner of it. Ben Johnson and Brian Johnson both being very attractive options as well. Heck, the hoodie possibly with Belichick. I really don't want Belichick, though, I'll be honest. We're going to wind up getting Belichick, and he'll be like the worst version of Belichick, and we're going to like hate it even more. No, I don't know. I would like a clean slate if you're going to do a clean slate. Joe S. says, I'm rooting for the Pats to win. Yeah, I want the Pats to beat the Giants on Thanksgiving. Daniel says, Hackett can't call a game, doesn't trust his players. Hackett is more of a problem than Saleh. With Saleh, we actually have a defense, can't call an offensive scheme worth shit. I agree. I do think Hackett is the biggest problem that we have right now, and there's just nothing we can do about it. We're stuck because we got Rodgers. Like, literally, Rodgers handcuffed us sort of accidentally. Nose kills. Says Belichick screws us in the draft by trading. We'll get the last laugh by losing week 18. Well, how the tables have turned. See, Belichick's not going to care because he's not going to be in New England next year. Belichick's going to be in Washington, LA, or outside shot, maybe a Giants head coach. He's always liked the Giants. I could see him going back there. Commanders seem to be the most likely spot. Although I do feel like the Chargers, if they get rid of Staley, old dudes like to retire in warm weather. So maybe he wants to go to LA. He's got a quarterback going for the win record. Probably need an established quarterback at this point. I don't know. I don't have the right answer, and I'm fucking frustrated. I'm salty. I'm tired. I don't know how long I've been doing this for. I think I'm at 2 hours now. Yeah, let's call that a wrap. I've spent far too much time on my weekend with this franchise. It's not worth my time. Not worth my time today. I appreciate you guys hanging in here. Got over, I think we're at like 300, 380 right now. If you guys want to drop a like, hit the like button. Goes a long way. Hopefully push this out to a few more people. I appreciate you guys tuning in and hanging out with me. This is Jets Talk, signing off. Jets.